Hi everyone, Mike here with PricePlow. As we all know by now, Rich Piana has unfortunately moved on to the next realm. CJ on our channel put together a great video talking about our thoughts and feelings about the whole situation, so you can check that out if you like. But back in the last winter, I actually recorded a video with CJ where I ranted about why I like 5% nutrition and Rich's philosophies towards being a 5%er, even though I'm clearly not a part of the 5% crew. We lost that file and only recently recovered it, and I really wish I would have posted it sooner because I think it's something that Rich would have absolutely loved and that it conveys the 5% message in my own words. So I'm going to release it to you now. I'd like you to consider this to be my eulogy to Rich Piana, even though the 5% nutrition, brand, and mentality will continue on. Thank you. I hope you enjoy.
Welcome to PricePlow.
What's up, YouTube? This is Mike and CJ from PricePlow. So CJ, on occasion I get asked over message, hey Mike, what's with you guys and 5% nutrition, especially me? Clearly, they say clearly you're not a 5%er. You're not like all big and jacked like that. You have no tattoos. You don't talk like them. You're not Rich Piana kind of guy. Why are you always all over this stuff? Mike, you're kind of like more of the geekier side. What's the love for 5%? You're just selling out. And here's the answer. And it's a very valid question. And so clearly you're right. I'm not ever you're not gonna see me going and get tons of tattoos. I don't have a single one, probably never will. And I'm not gonna get all roided up and jacked up or anything either. And so I'm not gonna follow Rich's cycle. But here's the fact is that it's the 5% mentality, not the product, but the actual mentality of the 5% brand that I am very, very highly passionate about. And to me, the way I explain it is, if you're, and this is actually, this is geared more towards guys than girls, because I'm a guy, I live that perspective, obviously, but you might be able to take away from it what you will if you're a female watching this. But to me, it's like, in your life, I find that guys, we're kind of just like, we're just chucked to the side, and we are just become bricks in the wall or cogs in the big wheel of society. And if we don't rise above and be so kick-ass at one or two things, we kind of just get lost in the system. And so to me, for a lot of people, if you want to be someone or you want to be great at something, I think that you really do need to rise above in your competitive field. And yes, we are competing, we are competitive about things. You need to be at the top 5% of your game. Now the fact is that Rich Piana, he wants to be the biggest freaking dude in any room he walks into. He is clearly on the top 5% of that. And that's why he's got the 5% nutrition for those kinds of people that want to follow in those footsteps. And I fully respect it, even though I'm not a 5%er in terms of getting all swole up in the gym. But I'll tell you that I am a 5%er in terms of kicking ass, in terms of business, having a web startup, writing blog posts. Eventually, I want to write a book. I want to be not just a 5%er in terms of people starting a business, but I want to be a 5%er against all the best business startup folks. I want to be a 5%er in terms of if I write a book, if you put me in a room of 100 people, I'll be a better writer than 95% of them. I mean, and I don't want to brag, but I'm a decent writer. Okay, but if you put me in a room full of writers, I will not be in the top 5% of them. So I'm saying you need to look at the people you're competing against. Yeah, I can deadlift better than 95% of the world. I can't deadlift more than 95% of deadlifters though.
Yeah,
so that's not my game. But if I am put in a room with CEOs, or if I'm put in a room with people who are running startups or bloggers, that's where I want to be in the top 5%, because that's where you start making impact. That's where you start kicking ass. And otherwise, you just kind of get lost in the shuffle. And I think Rich Piana and the 5% mentality, they understand that. And so their game is obviously getting huge. Yeah. It's not exactly my game, but I run that same game, just in a different aspect of life. Now, I understand that I can't do everything. And so for me, I'm not chasing the 5% best deadlift out of all the deadlifters out there. It's just not going to happen for me. Yeah. But I am still a part of chasing something and being someone in my sector, because I don't want to get lost in the shuffle. I mean, rant mode about to begin right here. We send hundreds of thousands of men out to war, and they're just kind of cast away. You know, if a guy dies, guess what? We can repopulate the earth with like 3 dudes. In the grand scheme of things, I think that guys are mostly useless. And I don't mean that in a sexist way. It's just kind of like, this is what it is. If you got rid of 80% of the dudes in this world, not much is going to really change. There's just be a lot less dudes in the world, and that's kind of my opinion. And so I don't want to be lost in that shuffle. I want to be a guy who kicks the living shit out of something, and it's not going to be deadlifts for me, but it's still going to be having an influential impact on something more like cerebral, on the business, on the fitness industry, or on the startup side, or when I write my book about how we got there. That's where I want to do it. And so I'm kind of chasing that dream, and I'm competing against a small fraction of people, and those are the people who I need to beat 95% of them if I want to succeed in life. And so when I see people, trying to become something like greater than life, I am all for it. And you know what? If you're going to do it, go all the way in. And that's what the whole 5% crew does. And so I have total respect for that. They're all about it. They say, hey, listen, this is what we're going to do. We're going to be we're going to be bigger, better, stronger, and better than 95% of the people. We might have a shitload of tattoos. We might be huge. We might do some steroids. But guess what? That's their game. Then they go after it 110% so that they can kick the shit out of everyone in their own industry. And the honest truth is that they're doing so well that I think it works, and I think people are getting it. And so that's kind of why I like 5% nutrition. It's not about the fitness thing. It's about the 5% mentality.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm actually, like, I'm one of these people that unfortunately, like, I think that sometimes we look at the surface level of conversation, and the surface level of 5% nutrition, we see tattoos, we see muscles, we see steroids, we see reality TV YouTubers, and that's your initial glance, but we sometimes don't take the time to actually, read between the lines and look into the context, like what does 5% mean? What is the real mentality behind it? Rich Piana, I was one of those people that got caught up in like seeing that too, and I made I made a judgment call just from a surface level look in. With that being said, I have to show respect to Rich Piana and the 5% crew for the 5% mentality. If I'm going to be a fitness professional, if that's what I set out to do, I'm going to be the baddest fucking fitness professional I can.
That's the point, yes.
Yeah, and so that's what this is all about, and I agree with that 1,000%. Is like, don't merge onto the highway all scared. Like, fucking get out there, like if you're going to hit something, hit it hard.
Yeah,
and
find that thing you love. It might not be getting big in the gym. It might not even be fitness related, but don't get lost in the shuffle. Don't be a 5 out of 10. You got this big bell curve out there. Don't suck, and don't even be mediocre. Like, find that one thing. It could be basket weaving for all I care. Like, go and kill it. That's the name of Rich Piana supplement. Like, go and kill it. And so that's why I keep coming back. Like, these guys want to kill it in that industry, and they are, and that's what they go after. And so I can't stress it enough. Like, don't be a brick in the wall. We have enough bricks in the wall. We don't need average. We need people who are extraordinary at this, extraordinary at that, extraordinary at this. And so we're not going to have that if you're like reading every book. If you listen to all music, you listen to no music. Like, get into your thing and just crush it.
Yeah, and I think if you have enough self-awareness, the thing that you are average, better than average about, that you're exceptional at, and so latch onto that thing and like just do that and focus on that. I mean, I don't think that, I think a lot of people, because of a lack of confidence, keep themselves at average.
Yeah,
and I think that
don't be afraid.
Yeah, the truth is, don't be afraid. I you know what? I just tell you right now, I was shitty in school. You know what I mean? I was always average. I mean, I passed everything I needed to, but I was I hated school. I hated reading. I own a school now. Like, that's what I do now. And the truth is, whenever I committed to, when I found something I loved, I wanted to educate myself on it, and I went all in, and I went hard.
And that's when you started being successful, is when you like dove crazy deep into it. And then you eventually come out of that rabbit hole, and holy shit, I know more than a lot of people. And then you start getting the content out there. You built the school. You can start putting the stuff out there on YouTube and talk about it confidently.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I mean, I got to give credit where credit's due. Rich Piana and the crew, that y'all style is not my style, even though I got the same tattoo. But the concepts, the concepts are the same. So yeah.
Yeah. So follow the lifestyle and get after it hard, no matter what it is, from lifting to basket weaving to just being a great father.